No one saw this coming. The headlines won't lie. What was supposed to be a quiet investigation just exploded into a full-blown family meltdown, the likes of which Hollywood could never script. For weeks, Nancy Guthrie's mysterious disappearance had social media on fire. Everyone had a theory. Everyone was pointing fingers. But no one expected the twist that came when the FBI walked into that interrogation room. Because the man sitting across from them, yeah, it wasn't some random stranger lurking in the shadows. It was Nancy's very own son-in-law. The guy who smiled for family photos, kissed the daughter on Instagram, and acted like the golden child suddenly looked like he'd seen a ghost. Too calm at first, cameras caught him walking into the federal building with a poker face that could rival any Netflix crime drama. But insiders are whispering that calm didn't last. One piece of evidence, just one, turned him from Mr. Perfect family son-in-law into a quivering mess. What could the FBI have shown him that shredded his lies in seconds? And more importantly, does this finally mean the truth about Nancy Guthrie's disappearance is about to come crashing down? Like a Jenga tower? Buckle up, because if the leaks are real, the next chapter of this story is darker, juicier, and far more shocking than anyone imagined. No one expected the day would come when Nancy Guthrie's perfectly curated family life would explode into a media frenzy. For decades, Nancy had been the picture of respectability. The woman everyone in the city knew, but no one truly understood. Calm, intelligent, composed, she had built a life that looked flawless on Instagram, in family portraits, and even in passing nods at charity galas. But behind the carefully painted smiles and polite hellos, sources now claim the reality was far messier. And at the center of this storm was a man who, to the outside world, seemed untouchable. Nancy's son-in-law. You know the type: successful, charming, always ready with a handshake and a photo op with the daughter, looking like he had everything under control. Until now. Until the FBI dropped a single folder in front of him. And suddenly the guy who had smiled through years of public scrutiny looked like a deer in headlights. The question is, what could have possibly been inside that folder to make him collapse in seconds? And is this the first real glimpse behind the gilded walls of the Guthrie family's secrets? Nancy's life had always attracted attention, though rarely the kind that made news tickers scroll in red and white. She was quietly powerful board member, community advocate, businesswoman with a portfolio people whispered about but rarely confirmed. She had influence, connections, and a reputation that few could touch. On the surface, she was a role model. Behind the surface, according to people close to the family, was tension, quiet arguments, and the kind of pressure cooker situations that only insiders understood. And in every story of tension, there's always someone pushing, someone pulling. And in Nancy's case, that someone reportedly became her son-in-law. He arrived in the family like a golden ticket, a successful, polished man ready to blend into the Guthrie legacy. Photos show him at gatherings, smiling alongside Nancy, hugging the daughter with warmth. The perfect family addition. But sources say the smile didn't last long once the cameras were off. Whispered conversations and anonymous accounts now claim that what appeared as harmony was actually a slow-burning conflict that had been simmering for years. Arguments over money, family business decisions, and personal power plays reportedly turned private dinners into tense standoffs. Neighbors allegedly overheard heated discussions through walls, and close associates hint at a woman who started guarding herself, watching who she trusted, and preparing for trouble she couldn't yet define. One source, who insisted on anonymity, even claimed Nancy once confided that she felt immense pressure from someone she considered close. At the time, it might have sounded like a passing comment. Now, in light of everything, investigators reportedly see it as a red flag. The first hint that someone inside the circle might have been manipulating events. Leading up to her disappearance, the night Nancy vanished was reportedly ordinary at first glance. Security cameras captured the usual street activity. Neighbors didn't notice anything out of place. And lights in the Guthrie home went off at their standard hour. But the following morning, the ordinary turned terrifying. Nancy was gone. Her car remained in the driveway, her purse and personal belongings untouched. No forced entry, nothing to suggest a violent intrusion. For seasoned investigators, that absence of a break-in automatically raises a chilling possibility. She knew the person. Who came to see her? Local police launched a search operation, canvassing the neighborhood, checking surveillance cameras, and interviewing anyone with even the vaguest connection to the family. The initial theory was kidnapping, a dramatic possibility the media immediately seized on. But the evidence refused to cooperate with a simple narrative. Clues didn't point to a stranger. Instead, they pointed inward, closer to the family, and that's when the FBI entered the picture. Once federal investigators were involved, the tone shifted. Financial records were subpoenaed, phone records analyzed, and digital communications quietly examined. And according to multiple sources, one name kept resurfacing: Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law. Initially, officials were careful, insisting that mentioning him repeatedly did not imply suspicion, merely that they had questions only he could answer. But the questions reportedly grew sharper, the tone more pointed, and the day came when the FBI decided to bring him in. What was supposed to be a routine conversation reportedly became a pressure cooker scenario. Reporters outside noticed the change immediately, agents moving faster, phones ringing constantly, and the atmosphere inside the building reportedly thick enough to choke on. And then came the interrogation. What happened in that room would allegedly shock even the most seasoned investigators. According to leaked reports, the calm, composed man who had walked into the federal building now faced evidence that destroyed his carefully maintained persona. One piece of paper, one folder, contained messages and digital breadcrumbs investigators claimed were unrecoverable until that moment. Text messages, fragmented chats, encrypted communications, all pointing toward a single night and a single problem. One line, according to reports, read, "Tonight, Mike finally solved the problem." No explanation, no context, just that sentence. The agents asked him who Mike was. He laughed nervously, insisted the message was unrelated, claimed misinterpretation. But the pressure was reportedly relentless. The next page allegedly revealed a timestamp, 2:14 a.m., the precise moment investigators believe something unusual occurred near Nancy's residence. His claim that he had been home all night reportedly fell apart under scrutiny, contradicted by digital evidence placing his device within 2 miles of the Guthrie estate. Sources say his hands trembled, his voice cracked, and the room went from tension to outright chaos in seconds. Outside, the story had already hit social media. Anonymous accounts allegedly began posting screenshots, purportedly from the very files shown to him inside the interrogation room. Posts spread across platforms, with users analyzing timestamps, messages, and the possibility of financial motives behind Nancy's disappearance. Hashtags like hashtag Nancy Guthrie Mystery and hashtag Guthrie Family Secrets reportedly began trending, as people speculated whether the son-in-law was a desperate liar or the first person willing to break under pressure and admit the truth. According to leaks, the son-in-law eventually reportedly whispered, "Okay, I went there that night." Investigators pushed for details. Why? How? According to sources, he reportedly claimed Nancy had asked him to come. If true, that revelation suggested a terrifying new angle. This might not have been a stranger-driven disappearance. It might have been a domestic, personal event. An interaction gone terribly wrong inside the supposedly perfect family home. And the tension reportedly didn't end there. Leaked reports allege that once the admission was made, investigators began asking about financial matters. Nancy, it seems, had allegedly discovered something huge. Sources claim she uncovered hidden transactions, large transfers, financial maneuvering that could have created internal conflict within the Guthrie family. And according to the leaks, the son-in-law was suddenly forced to explain himself, not just where he had been, but why he was present at a moment tied to these shadowy financial secrets. Allegedly, this is where the story reportedly took its first truly explosive turn. A second folder allegedly revealed a photograph, grainy and imperfect, yet allegedly showing a vehicle matching the make and model of his car near Nancy's street. At 2:14 a.m. his carefully crafted alibi, it seems, collapsed like a house of cards. Sources claim he reportedly stared at the image for several long seconds, silence filling the room. Before trying to regain composure, reportedly, the agents pressed again, and reportedly, he admitted his presence, explaining it with a shaky story about financial tensions and urgent discussions. If the leaks are true, the internet reportedly exploded once more. Screenshots and images spread like wildfire. Social media users allegedly connected timestamps, messages, and photographs, drawing intricate narratives about internal family betrayal, hidden wealth, and long-simmering grudges. Rumors claimed that the Guthrie daughter, the person who had once posed beside him in every photo, was now reportedly caught in the crossfire of suspicion and media speculation. Insiders allegedly claim the son-in-law's breakdown was just the beginning. Investigators reportedly began tracing the money, the digital footprints, and private conversations, seeking a trail that could explain what actually happened the night Nancy vanished. Allegedly, there were hints of more than one person involved in covering up certain transactions. Allegedly, there were whispers of additional family members or inner circle associates who may have acted in ways that ultimately endangered Nancy. And while nothing had been officially confirmed, the leaked reports reportedly painted a picture of a family whose public image was a carefully constructed illusion, now crumbling under scrutiny. According to the leaks, the night of Nancy's disappearance was ordinary, but the web of secrets it allegedly unveiled was anything but. Investigators reportedly claim that everything from financial irregularities to mysterious communications now points to a far more complicated scenario than a simple disappearance. Allegedly, the son-in-law's story is just one thread in a tangled tapestry involving money, trust, and betrayal within one of the city's most respected families. And if social media reactions are to be believed, the public is equally fascinated and horrified. Users on multiple platforms reportedly debated everything. Was he protecting himself? Was he hiding something more sinister? And how deep did the family's secrets go? The leaks, according to reports, fueled speculation at an unprecedented pace, with theorists connecting dots that law enforcement may not have even considered yet. And that, according to insiders, is where the first part of this investigation allegedly ends. Because the calm, confident way that Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law maintained for years reportedly shattered in a matter of minutes. Investigators allegedly claim the evidence inside the folder, the messages, the timestamps, and the photograph was enough to change the narrative overnight. Social media allegedly exploded. Private communications reportedly began circulating online, and the so-called perfect family image reportedly started to erode in real time. And just when the public thought they had a grip on the story, sources claim that investigators allegedly began uncovering more questions than answers, leaving the mystery hanging in the air like a storm cloud ready to break. So, what really happened after that dramatic admission? According to the insider leaks, yes, the ones that social media is already having a field day with, things reportedly went from bad to utterly chaotic in a matter of minutes. Once Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law allegedly admitted he went to the house that night, investigators reportedly began pressing him on every detail. Why? For how long? And, most importantly, what exactly had transpired once he arrived? Allegedly, his responses were shaky at best. Sources say he claimed Nancy had asked him to come over urgently, supposedly to discuss some financial irregularities she had uncovered. But anyone watching the story unfold on Twitter and TikTok reportedly noticed that financial irregularities sounded an awful lot like code for something much juicier, a hidden scandal the family had spent years trying to keep under wraps. According to the leaks, investigators reportedly started connecting the dots between his alleged visit and a series of strange financial transactions that had taken place just days before Nancy disappeared. Anonymous sources familiar with the investigation reportedly claimed that Nancy had discovered a massive transfer of funds from a Guthrie family account into accounts that were untraceable to anyone outside a very tight circle. And of course, the first suspect. You guessed it, her son-in-law. The FBI allegedly asked the kind of pointed questions that no one ever wants to hear. Who authorized the transfers? Who else knew? And why hadn't Nancy mentioned anything before? Allegedly, the son-in-law reportedly stammered, tried to laugh it off, and insisted he had nothing to do with it. But the evidence, allegedly sitting in the folders and on digital devices, reportedly told a much darker story. Social media, of course, was having a moment. Within hours, screenshots of leaked messages and financial statements allegedly circulated across Twitter, Instagram, and private Discord groups. Users on True Crime Forum reportedly began dissecting every single timestamp, every single line from his admitted texts, and speculating wildly about what Mike really meant in that cryptic message. Tonight, Mike finally solved the problem? Was Mike a third party, a family fixer, or, as some conspiracy theorists suggested, the invisible hand behind a cover-up that no one had dared to name before? Theories range from the slightly plausible to the absolutely absurd, and every new leak fueled the narrative that the Guthrie family was hiding something monumental. According to leaked confidential reports, remember, these are allegedly from inside sources. Investigators reportedly began triangulating his phone data against security footage, digital breadcrumbs, and timestamps from other devices connected to the Guthrie household. Suddenly, the timeline he had been repeating for days reportedly collapsed entirely. Allegedly, his story about staying home all night contradicted multiple points of digital evidence. His device pinged off a cellular tower less than 2 miles from Nancy's home at 2:14 a.m. The grainy surveillance still reportedly showed a vehicle matching his car parked near her property. And allegedly, digital logs suggested unauthorized access to certain financial accounts that night. The implication? According to these leaks, either he wasn't telling the full truth, or someone else was actively moving money while Nancy was potentially on the verge of exposing it. Anonymous sources allegedly added a layer of dramatic tension that social media, of course, ran with immediately. If he went there willingly, one source allegedly said, then who else in that family knew? And what were they planning? And boom, just like that, public speculation shifted from a single suspect to the possibility of a multi-layered conspiracy within the Guthrie inner circle. Reportedly, the son-in-law's story became the spark that ignited a wildfire of scrutiny, gossip, and outrage, both online and, allegedly, inside investigative circles. Everyone reportedly wanted answers: friends, neighbors, journalists, and, naturally, the court of social media law where every screenshot is evidence, every rumor is fact, and every typo is a criminal admission. And then came the reports about his alleged lavish spending habits, according to sources claiming to have inside knowledge. Investigators reportedly discovered that the son-in-law had been living far beyond his declared income for years. Private trips, luxury vehicles, high-end watches, and a lifestyle that reportedly screamed someone's hiding something allegedly came under the microscope. Investigators allegedly wondered if these expenditures could be linked to those secret financial transfers Nancy supposedly discovered. And of course, the public, fueled by leaks and speculation, reportedly had a field day. Headlines practically wrote themselves. Guthrie's son-in-law's private jets, and hidden accounts exposed. Nancy Guthrie's family secrets finally revealed. Within hours, forums, blogs, and threads across the internet were flooded with posts connecting dots, tagging influencers, and analyzing photos of the son-in-law at various high society events as proof of wrongdoing. Allegedly, the pressure reportedly didn't end with just financial scrutiny. Investigators reportedly questioned him about alleged interactions with other members of Nancy's inner circle. Who knew what? Who had access to sensitive documents? And who might have been involved in ensuring Nancy's silence, even temporarily, were reportedly key questions. Sources claim he reportedly got defensive at this point, denying any collusion, while allegedly spilling small bits that, according to investigators, suggested multiple individuals may have been aware of the transfers and unusual activity around the time Nancy disappeared. Allegedly, the FBI allegedly focused on phone logs, encrypted messages, and email chains that reportedly painted a portrait of a family operating in shadows, where trust was transactional and every gesture was scrutinized. Meanwhile, as social media exploded, the public reaction allegedly turned almost theatrical. Commentators reportedly debated whether the son-in-law was guilty, scapegoating, or just a man caught in an impossible web of family intrigue. Memes and GIFs allegedly popped up overnight, mocking his collapsing composure and cryptic messages, while investigative threads dissected every word and every pause he reportedly made. During questioning, allegedly, one user wrote, "Bro looked like he just saw his life flash before him. Nancy didn't disappear. She threw a plot twist at him, and he failed spectacularly." Others reportedly speculated that Nancy's daughter might have been complicit, or at least aware of certain financial maneuvers, igniting yet another round of debates online. Leaked reports allegedly claim that investigators continued pressing him, reportedly showing additional photographs, timestamps, and documents. The pressure reportedly mounted as sources say agents wanted to know if Nancy's disappearance was tied to the discovery of hidden accounts, irregular transfers, or knowledge of Mike's involvement. Allegedly, the son-in-law reportedly broke down again, reportedly muttering about urgent conversations, family pressure, and a series of events that, if true, could completely alter the public narrative. The room, according to leaks, reportedly became a pressure cooker of tension, with every second amplifying the collapse of his carefully maintained composure. Anonymous investigative insiders allegedly also hinted at something even more dramatic. Other family members, or close associates, may have reportedly been monitoring Nancy's digital activity in the days leading up to her disappearance. Allegedly, phone pings, device access logs, and suspicious network activity suggested she might have discovered something dangerous. The son-in-law and others reportedly wanted to keep under wraps. And if that's true, the stakes reportedly escalated from a simple family dispute to a full-blown scandal involving secrecy, betrayal, and perhaps a touch of criminal negligence. And as the world watched, social media allegedly picked up on every alleged development. Screenshots of financial spreadsheets, chat logs, and even allegedly leaked emails supposedly circulated faster than official statements could be issued. Memes reportedly mocked the son-in-law's panicked expressions, while Twitter threads allegedly connected him to mysterious financial accounts, suggesting he had been acting alone or perhaps as part of a coordinated family effort. Allegedly, investigators were reportedly facing a challenge, separating fact from theatrics, truth from gossip, all while trying to track Nancy's whereabouts and uncover what really happened that fateful night. The leaked reports allegedly suggest that the fallout could be monumental. Investigators reportedly speculated about potential criminal charges, financial probes, and even government inquiries. Allegedly, resignations, lawsuits, and massive media scrutiny were reportedly just the beginning. Public backlash, according to these leaks, was reportedly building at a pace few could have predicted, fueled not just by curiosity, but by the perceived betrayal of trust within a family, once thought untouchable. And so, according to insider leaks, this is where part 2 of the story allegedly ends. A son-in-law collapsed, secrets allegedly spilled, financial mysteries reportedly unveiled, and a family's image publicly unraveling. Social media, news outlets, and forums were all allegedly hungry for answers, each update adding fuel to the fire. But as anyone following the story closely allegedly knows, the darkest, Most shocking revelations were reportedly still to come. Because if the leaks are accurate, Nancy Guthrie's disappearance was never just about one person or one transaction. It was allegedly about a network of secrets, a web of lies, and a family willing to do anything to protect what they thought was untouchable. And then came the fallout. The moment when the glittering facade of the Guthrie family reportedly began to crumble under the weight of scrutiny. According to leaks, investigators allegedly intensified their probe, tracing every financial thread, digital breadcrumb, and whispered conversation connected to that fateful night. Allegedly, the son-in-law's admission that he had visited Nancy's house reportedly opened a Pandora's box of questions. Who else knew what Nancy had discovered? Were there others in the family actively moving money to cover up secrets? And, of course, the ultimate question: had someone, somewhere, decided to silence her before the truth could get out? Sources who claimed to have access to the investigation allegedly revealed that the FBI allegedly began focusing on hidden accounts, untraceable transfers, and unusual financial activities stretching back months. Leaks reportedly suggested that someone, possibly another family member or inner circle associate, accessed critical accounts hours before Nancy vanished. Social media, of course, exploded. Users allegedly dissected screenshots, timestamps, and even allegedly doctored photos, creating a narrative that was part conspiracy, part drama, and entirely addictive. Hashtags like hashtag Guthrie Family Secrets and hashtag Nancy Guthrie Mystery reportedly trended across every platform, as everyone from armchair detectives to professional journalists speculated about the dark undercurrents flowing through the supposedly perfect family. Allegedly, the pressure on the son-in-law reportedly didn't let up. Investigators were said to have confronted him with additional messages, phone pings, and allegedly leaked emails, each piece designed to test whether he was hiding information or trying to protect someone else. Sources reportedly describe him as pale, shaking, and increasingly desperate, attempting to explain the unexplained, while digital and financial evidence reportedly contradicted every claim. Reportedly, one agent allegedly leaned forward, voice calm but intense, and asked the question everyone was thinking: if you knew about these transfers, did anyone else in the family know? According to leaks, his reaction was reportedly priceless in a horrifying, panicked kind of way. Allegedly, he reportedly muttered, stammered, and at one point, reportedly said, I don't know who else," leaving investigators with more questions than answers. Meanwhile, the public, fueled by anonymous screenshots and social media leaks, allegedly began constructing their own narrative. Every post, every tweet, every viral thread seemingly added fuel to a fire investigators were still trying to control. Allegedly, users speculated about shadowy figures, secret meetings, and midnight transactions. One post reportedly read, "If this is true, the Guthrie family isn't just hiding money, they're hiding a murder plot." Others reportedly joked, "Plot twist. The son-in-law was just trying to cook dinner, and Nancy caught him in the act. But the FBI makes it a Netflix series anyway." The mix of terror, fascination, and humor reportedly made the story explode in ways even professional media hadn't predicted. Leaked reports allegedly also claimed that the investigation began examining the daughter's role in the events. Allegedly, investigators wanted to know what she knew when she knew it, and whether her knowledge or actions could implicate her in the financial or mysterious events of that night. According to sources, digital records and communications between the son-in-law and daughter were allegedly under scrutiny, revealing cryptic messages that investigators reportedly found suspicious. Some sources allegedly suggested that she might have been aware of the transfers, or even the possibility that Nancy was uncovering something dangerous. Allegedly, every phone ping, every screenshot, and every chat log reportedly became a piece of a puzzle that painted a picture of a family operating in secrecy, tension, and, according to the leaks, desperation. Meanwhile, as investigators allegedly pieced together the financial trail, The story reportedly escalated into a full-blown media spectacle. Leaked spreadsheets allegedly showed significant, unexplained transfers allegedly connected to the Guthrie business empire. Allegedly. Sources claimed the FBI was exploring whether these transfers were the motive behind Nancy's disappearance or at least the reason for the family's intense secrecy. Social media users, naturally, were already having a field day. Allegedly. Memes comparing the son-in-law's collapsing composure to every dramatic movie meltdown ever filmed reportedly circulated within hours. Allegedly, threads speculated about corporate corruption, hidden accounts, and the potential for resignations, legal action, and financial ruin, according to sources claiming inside knowledge. The son-in-law reportedly finally admitted to investigators that while he had gone to Nancy's house that night, he was not acting alone in the financial schemes. Allegedly, other family members or trusted associates had been aware, possibly even orchestrating transfers or monitoring Nancy's movements to prevent her from uncovering the full picture. Allegedly, this revelation reportedly turned the investigation upside down. What initially appeared to be a single individual under scrutiny allegedly became a network of people potentially complicit in hiding secrets or worse. And the public, naturally, was eating it up. Reportedly, forums, blogs, and social media feeds were flooded with theories, analysis, and unverified leaks that made the story impossible to ignore. Leaked insiders allegedly claim that investigators also began reviewing surveillance footage, timestamps, and unusual phone activity during the night Nancy vanished. Allegedly, the evidence suggested that someone else still unidentified may have accessed accounts or even attempted to mislead investigators. Reportedly, this opened the possibility that Nancy's disappearance wasn't a simple case of one son-in-law's misdeeds, but rather a tangled web involving multiple individuals in positions of trust. Allegedly, the question on everyone's mind became, who else was protecting secrets at Nancy's expense? And what lengths were they willing to go to in order to maintain control? And then, as part of the alleged fallout, public backlash reportedly exploded. Opinion pieces, viral threads, and commentary allegedly speculated about legal consequences. Allegedly, the son-in-law could face charges ranging from fraud to obstruction of justice. Investigators were reportedly exploring possible financial crimes, potential involvement of other family members, and even the legal implications of hidden accounts. Meanwhile, the daughter allegedly came under scrutiny, with social media debates questioning whether she had been complicit or simply unaware. The pressure reportedly intensified for all parties involved, with sources claiming that family relationships could be permanently altered. Financial experts allegedly added their own dramatic commentary. Allegedly, they claimed that if the leaks were accurate, the Guthrie family could face multi-million-dollar investigations, freezes on accounts, and even reputational damage that would be impossible to repair. Allegedly, the son-in-law's assets reportedly came under review, while investigators allegedly explored whether other associates could be implicated in potential fraud or manipulation. Social media users, naturally, compared the unfolding drama to every cinematic corporate scandal they could think of, from Wall Street betrayals to true crime thrillers, adding a layer of cultural resonance to the chaos. And as the investigation allegedly moved forward, the story reportedly took yet another twist. Sources claimed that new communications allegedly suggested other individuals were monitoring Nancy's digital activity, possibly aware she was on the verge of uncovering financial or personal secrets. Allegedly, investigators reportedly considered the possibility that Nancy had discovered something extremely dangerous, which may have led to the series of events that culminated in her disappearance. The layers of secrecy, alleged complicity, and potential criminal activity reportedly created a scenario that investigators described as unprecedented in its complexity. By the time Part 3 allegedly rolled out online, the narrative reportedly had shifted from a missing person investigation to a full-blown expose of family corruption, secrecy, and alleged betrayal. According to leaks, every financial thread, message, and phone ping reportedly hinted at a larger network of secrets waiting to be uncovered. Social media, of course, reacted instantly. Memes, conspiracy theories, and viral threads allegedly spread faster than official statements could be made, while journalists, bloggers, and commentators speculated about the next shocking revelation. Allegedly, the public's appetite for drama, scandal, and intrigue was insatiable. So where does this leave Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law? According to the leaks, he allegedly remains under intense scrutiny, caught between law enforcement pressure and a public narrative he can no longer control. Allegedly, his collapse reportedly marked the beginning of a chain reaction that exposed long-hidden secrets, financial mysteries, and personal betrayals that could shake the family and perhaps the city to its core. Sources claim that what started as a single visit to Nancy's house reportedly spiraled into a multi-layered investigation involving digital breadcrumbs, hidden money, and family intrigue worthy of a Netflix series. And now, here's where you, the viewer, come in. Do you believe he was protecting himself? Was he simply a pawn in a much bigger scheme? Or was this a calculated, sinister plot orchestrated by multiple people, all desperate to keep Nancy from revealing the truth? What about the daughter? What about the other family members? Could someone else have been involved in manipulating events, hiding financial records, or even interfering with the investigation? The questions are endless. The intrigue is relentless, and the leaks, whether fully true or not, have set the internet ablaze. The story of Nancy Guthrie, her son-in-law, and the shocking revelations allegedly uncovered by the FBI reportedly continues to grow, layer by layer, twist by twist. And one thing is certain. Once the first crack appeared in the family's facade, there's reportedly no turning back. Every secret, every transaction, and every whispered conversation is now under the microscope. Allegedly, investigators, journalists, and the public are all waiting for the next bombshell, knowing full well that this story is far from over. So here's the question. What do you think really happened that night? Was it a simple financial argument gone wrong? A desperate attempt to hide a family scandal? Or something far more sinister? Could Nancy Guthrie have been on the verge of exposing something that would have destroyed the carefully constructed world around her? And most importantly, who else knows the truth, and are they willing to go to extreme lengths to keep it buried? If you want to see every shocking twist, every leak, every crumbling alibi, and every family secret revealed, make sure you hit that like button, comment your theories below, and subscribe. Because if this story has taught us anything, it's that the truth behind Nancy Guthrie's disappearance and the collapse of her son-in-law under FBI pressure is far more explosive than anyone ever imagined. And trust us, you won't want to miss the next update, because in a family like this, secrets never stay buried for long. So, what do you think really happened that night? Was Nancy Guthrie on the verge of exposing secrets that would have shaken her family to the core? And her son-in-law, was he protecting himself, covering up a mistake, or hiding something far more sinister? Maybe it wasn't just him, maybe other members of the family were involved in keeping her silence. The questions are endless, the mystery is growing, and every leak, every screenshot, and every cryptic message only makes the story more explosive. We want to hear what you think. Who's really behind these secrets? Who knew what? And who might have gone to extreme lengths to protect their empire? Could this be one of the biggest family scandals in recent history? Or is it just the internet running wild again? Drop your theories in the comments below, because the wildest ideas sometimes turn out to be closer to the truth than you think. And if you want to stay on top of every shocking twist, every leaked message, and every jaw-dropping revelation in the Nancy Guthrie saga, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Trust us, this story is far from over, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. The truth is out there, and it's about to get even messier.